Hello Internet, welcome back to our Magiclysm playthrough. On last episode we installed a ton of CBMs and we also mutated, many of which were positive, but two of which were unacceptably bad, right? So we got carnivore and we got inconveniently large. Both of these have a severe negative effect on my character that I don't want. So carnivore in particular is super bad because it extremely limits the amount of food that you can eat. So if we go to our food stores and we hit the eat button, did our goggles just give out on us? Is that what just happened? Or no, the sun is coming up. Okay. And if we go over here and we look, you'll see a huge amount of our food stores are now listed as inedible plant stuff, which is super bad. And then you'll see the remainder of things that are here, it looks like mostly the junk food, is stuff that will now make us sick. We can still eat it, but it will be bad for us. So those are extremely bad mutations, and so we're going to be taking Purifier, and specifically we're going to be taking flasks of Purifier, because the flasks will remove one or two mutations, whereas the Purifier Serum will remove probably all of our positive ones as well. So we're just going to, hopefully, fingers crossed, you lose your Carnivore mutation. We also lost Leaves, which allowed us to regain small amounts of nutrition when in the sun with our head uncovered. It also reduced our, what am I thinking? It reduced our wet penalties. So it was a nice mutation to have, but it wasn't like super awesome. So we did lose Carnivore. Inconveniently large is a problem. We talked about why it's a problem in the last episode. However, it's not devastating the way Carnivore is devastating. So I think for the moment we have so many positives. I think we should take more Purifier. You lose your Growling Voice, you lose your Inconveniently Large, you lose Strong, you lose Gourmand. So we did lose a lot of the positive ones as well that we really liked. Gourmand was a pretty good one to have. But we did lose Growling Voice, Inconveniently Large, and Strong also was good, but not like... I'm okay with losing it. It was just 1 point of strength. And we haven't been doing that much melee anyway. So, we still have Bark, which is minor cut and damage, cut, protection, and protection from fire. And it reduces our wet effects, which is very nice because we're often out in the rain. And is that the only one we have left? We have poor mana sensitivity or whatever, but I don't really care about that. Man, so all that mutation we did, all we walk away with is Bark, which is not good. I mean, it's a second tier. It went from Feloderm to Bark, so it is something, positive movement. We're also in quite a lot of pain. This is why I don't like mutations. It's a game of like really often give and take, and it's often seems more negative than it is positive. I never activated this. Oh no, it's in progress. Okay. I'm not a big fan of mutation because there's no real control that you can have over it, and I need control over my character. Why did I come out? I need medicine. We want to take, I don't know, codeine. We'll take 2 codeine because we're in quite a lot of pain. I don't think 2 codeine will OD us. Then we need to drink something. We should probably eat something as well. Go ahead and drink something. We'll get calories from this as well, which is fine. Just drink a bunch of... Didn't mean to drink vinegar. Probably shouldn't drink vinegar as vinegar. We're engorged, which is interesting. We do have 1 bionic power. What restored our bionic power? We have everything turned off, including metabolic interchange is off. So what would have restored 1 point of CBM power? It doesn't matter. Maybe from eating the vinegar? No. Like, I thought maybe the battery charger system, eating vinegar because it's, basic or whatever, maybe had a... Okay, it doesn't matter. We will turn on our torsion ratchet for the moment. Man, we have a lot of stuff, huh? So now we have water extraction, which can pull water from the air. Radiation scrubber, which will pull radiation out of our body. Shotgun arm allows us to fire a shotgun buried in our arm. Soporific induction makes you sleepy. Electrode has been implanted into your brain's ventrolateral preoptic nucleus It turns on whenever you're trying to fall asleep, creating an artificial but effective sensation of fatigue. So basically, this automatically comes on, apparently, when we try to sleep, which will help us sleep. Metabolic interchange allows us to gain bionic energy from eating. LED tattoo is just a very small amount of light. It doesn't provide enough light to comfortably... Oh, but you can still do it. Okay. Torsion ratchet lets us recharge bionic power by moving. Extended tool set allows you to cut metal, pry things, and other stuff. I've never really gotten this to work. When I tried to pry doors open, it said I couldn't get a good angle on it. So I don't know if that's really that useful. Because when I saw this originally, I thought, oh, that'll replace our crowbar, which will save me inventory space. But it doesn't look like that's always the case. So sometimes you need a proper crowbar. Integrated tool set. We do have 570 bionic charge, so we could do some vehicle work just with our integrated tool set and save ourselves some welding power, battery power, and things, although it's not going to come up very often. It does let us replace our screwdriver, hammer, wrench, hacksaw, hand drill, and heating elements, which is pretty good. There are a lot of things where this will be handy, so we don't have to carry those tools on our person. But for the moment, we have all those tools, so it's not like we gained anything new. It's just we don't have to necessarily carry them with us. And for the record, I don't use the integrated tool set very much, so I will probably forget that we have this, and we'll still end up carrying screwdrivers and stuff with us because I'm just used to carrying them. Optical dampeners, surgically installed over your eyes, can be tinted to block out incoming light. I don't know why that would be useful. It's activatable, so it's not like it would save me from a flashbang or something. Not that there are things that use flashbangs really, but like, I guess it's just like a blindfold, but it's attached to your body, so you don't need to use a blindfold. It's not very useful, in my opinion. Cable charger lets us connect to a vehicle with a jumper cable, which will let us charge our battery directly from a vehicle. Integrated dosimeter, presumably it tells me when I've been exposed to radiation or what my current level is. Finger pick, electronic lockpick, surgically embedded, quickly unlock all but the most advanced key locks without any skill required. So for safes like the gun safes, I think like gun stores have locks on them that would be valuable to be able to pick, so pretty good. This lets you pull metal objects out of enemies' hands. Really not useful in even the slightest because zombies don't carry weapons. Cranial flashlight is a portable flashlight that pulls power directly from me, so we can replace the flashlight in our inventory because we will almost always have more power in the cranial flashlight. Unfortunately, oh no, so it only uses 1 power every 150 turns, or about 2.5 minutes. So really, basically, it's a very economical flashlight for us. So we can ditch the flashlight in our inventory because we will almost always have battery power charge. Alarm system, notice all movement within 15 feet will silently alert you. Useful during sleep or if you suspect a cloaked pursuer. Yeah, not a lot of cloaked pursuers in this game, but okay. Basically, it would wake us up if someone approached us while sleeping. We do have poor hearing and heavy sleepers, so that is something that could potentially happen, but honestly, it almost never happens. So I don't know how valuable that really is, and we have to turn it on, which I will absolutely forget, and it will drain battery power while we sleep every 10 minutes. So probably never really going to use that. Battery system lets us drain batteries by eating them, so to speak, directly from battery charge, which is not super useful at the moment because we do have the torsion ratchet and we can charge from our vehicle now. Then we have internal climate control, which basically regulates our body temperature, which is mostly useful in like freezing labs, but can also be useful during like summertime, I guess, when it's really hot and we can't wear our best gear, maybe, or in the wintertime if we don't have good clothes. We also have passive CBMs, which is the timekeeping CBM, the CBM that will help us to breathe when we're in smoke or poison gas. Wired reflexes is a flat bonus to dexterity. Anti-glare compensators act as welding goggles as well as to protect us from glares. Alloy plating is just a flat physical, it's basically armor that we get for free. We don't have to wear it. It's applied to our torso. And then we have telescopic eyes, which act as binoculars. Oh, that took a long time to talk about. But at this point, we've installed all the CBMs, basically, that we have accrued over all this time that we've... Oh, no, not the teleportation unit. Over all the time we've been in the labs, we've finally gotten a lot of these CBMs into our body. Very good. Very, very good. Definitely improves our survivability, although most of them are for utility purposes. So let's look through here real quick, see what we can disassemble for goodies. Doesn't have a recipe. Yeah, no recipes there. Cranial flashlights, we can get lenses from. Chronometer, no. And the metabolic interchange just gives solder, really? Okay. And we will disassemble these, I think, just for their valuables and because we need a soldering iron with 20 charges. Well, we should have soldering irons laying around at this point. We should have at least 2. So we'll grab this one and we'll disassemble. 8 minutes. We'll do the 50-minute one. I don't know why it takes so long when all it gives you is a freaking solder and a burnout bionic, but okay. We'll do that because that will advance our autoclave, which will make it... Basically, I want to do stuff around the base until the autoclave finishes cleaning all these other CBMs, and then we will install them before we leave. We don't want to leave without getting value out of them. Because who knows how long it will be before we come back to a lab or back to a place where we can find an autodoc. Like, there's probably an autodoc in the hospital in the town to the north, but we're not going to ever clear that hospital. Take the solder. Solder's pretty valuable. Definitely take the lenses. We'll take all of this, I guess, and we'll dump it in the miscellaneous pile in our car. The problem with us trying to move on is that this car is not very big. We don't have a ton of storage, so we're probably going to ruin our categories, like our sorting zones that we have set up, and we're just going to pile everything we can into the vehicle. Because we're going to be going to town and we're going to be expanding the vehicle an additional tile. So we're going to need to resort everything into the new cargo spaces anyway. And of course, we'll probably change everything to stow boards and we'll store some of the less valuable stuff on the outside. Like, like melee weapons that we're not really using. No sense having them take up valuable space in the interior. We can just stow them in the edges. And garbage like that we don't really need. So, yep. I didn't check. Is this finished? Are you finished? Packed. You're not finished. Wish you were finished. So I guess we'll just read until we're kind of ready to go and install them again. I could, of course, every time we're cleaning one, I could go install one that's already cleaned, which would take up time, but I really don't feel like going back up and down the stairs multiple times, so we're going to try to do them all at once. What haven't we done in a while? We need to raise our tailoring if we can, because I want to be able to repair the gear we're currently wearing. Tailoring does not have any super immediate value, though. Fab would be more important because we want to work towards a forge, which requires a pretty hefty fab skill to do a lot of that stuff. You know, crafting advanced weapons requires like fab 8. So, I mean, we definitely need to raise fab at some point. Mechanics is looking great. We don't need to worry about mechanics. Computer skill, I could care less. First aid can't be raised any higher. I think those are the priority ones. Tailoring is less important. Cooking is way less important. Although I would like to raise our cooking at some point. Tailoring seems fine. We'll go tailoring. I'm going to read our tailoring books. Scroll down to our books here. Do they all have sew in them? I could have searched for sew, I guess. Techniques. It will be blue. So we're looking for blue things. Blue, 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 blue. Sewing techniques for designers. I have no idea what skill this will take us to. And I'm pretty sure it's the only other sewing book we have. So that's not great. But it is something to read. So we'll go ahead and pick up a plank. We'll drop that. Why would we do that? We have daylight. We'll come out here. We'll read in the daylight. We'll read around the corner just to be a little less exposed to that side. Because we found over here is where we found the skeletal juggernaut. I went out specifically to look and see if there were other enemies around, if it was part of a horde. I didn't see anything, but there's a forest and swamp back there. So for all we know, they're just hidden by the trees. So we kind of want to stay away from that end of things for the moment. We'll go ahead and read this. Read until you gain a level. Oh, what else is going on with me? I've been having dark days, which is what I talked about in the last episode. I don't want to dwell on that. I know we've talked about my mental health a lot in these episodes, and I don't want that to be all the time. Honestly, I'm a pretty stable guy, so it's not super often that I'm in a terrible, terrible place. And I don't want you to get the impression that I'm there all the time, because I'm really not. And because it's kind of embarrassing to talk about mental health stuff, because some people are very understanding and they get it and they're in that same position. Some people not so much. Some people are very judgmental of you when you admit that you struggle, or, when I talk about my depression, some people just kind of like, they're like, well, how old are you? And I'm like, well, I'm 31. And they'll say, okay, you're 31 and you're depressed. Grow up. Like, get over yourself. Wasn't there a third CBM? Finger hack, teleportation. What was the third one? We were missing a third one. Surgical scalpels. Glad we didn't accidentally disassemble that like an idiot. So let's head down here and see if we can get... Well, we're very hungry. Why don't we eat anything? Do we have anything to eat in here? We definitely want to take cornmeal with us. Coffee powder I could care less, I guess, but I'll take it. Let's drink something with calories in it to sate our hunger. For the moment, not sate our hunger, but to dismiss our very hungry tag. Yeah, some people are very judgmental about you dealing with depression. They kind of make fun, and it's like, well, you're an adult, and adults, you just deal with it. Everybody just has to deal with it. Everybody's depressed, and they do fine, so why can't you? It's like, okay, well... So I don't necessarily want to talk about that, but I don't have a lot that goes on in my life. Man, we failed that finger hack at 9%. What are the odds? Get it? Because it's literally, the odds are 9%. Whatever, successfully installed the finger pick. Next, fingers crossed, surgical, my brain and my voice. Surgical scalpel is really important because it would let us remove our scalpel and butchering tools from our inventory, which aren't hugely voluminous, but also this particular CBM acts as like the best, like one of the best butchering tools in the entire game. So very good to have. Very happy that went in properly. Teleportation unit, I think it just randomly moves you to a different place, which is not super useful. I would rather have the quantum tunnel. But it is something that would let us potentially move through walls. Which, again, we have a pickaxe, so it's not like we desperately need it. But it is good. Let's look at the teleportation unit. 250 power to use is pretty large power investment. Experimental unit folds space over short distances, instantly teleporting your body up to 25 feet at the cost of much power. Prolonged or frequent use may have dangerous side effects. That sounds awful. We're going to not use that unless we desperately need to, because I'm guessing we would end up... I think what would happen is it probably gives you like teleportitis from NetHack kind of style disease, where you suddenly are experience... I went down, I meant to go up. Where you start to experience multiple like... accidental teleportations where you have no real control over where you're going, and you can't control when or if you teleport, which is very bad, and you don't want that. So yeah, that's what I would guess. Our power is slowly recharging because we're using the joint torsion ratchet. So that should be it for CBMs. We have installed a lot of these CBMs, and unfortunately the rest don't have a lot of value except as backups. I mean, they literally do have value. They have trade value. Although I never play with... I mean, we have NPCs in the world, I just never use them. Maybe we'll hang on to them just because they are so pricey. And I think we're ready to move on. If I were smart, I would probably... well, I'd probably mutate some more, but I really don't want to. I don't like mutating. I think some of the mutations are cool, but I do not like the system itself. So, we've cleared all the zones from inside the building. We're going to add an unsorted zone to this pile right here. We're going to save that. And these are the things we're leaving behind. These are things we're leaving behind. These batteries on this pile, they're just disposables that I don't necessarily want. I think we just hit sort. Fingers crossed. Pick action. Well, what else would I be doing? What other option is there? So hopefully this all fits in the car and doesn't fall on the ground. I'm going to keep an eye on this list as it goes by. But we really don't have a lot of control over whether or not it puts things... What are you doing? Why did you move me? So what I want to do now, I want to pull forward and see if it dropped anything on the ground. I cannot believe it all fit in the car. Okay, and it should have put all our batteries on here. I set up a custom battery zone, which moved all these here. We obviously, the disposables are not going to be recharged, but we're going to keep all our batteries on that spot anyway. Man, we have a lot of heavy batteries. There really aren't very many things that require heavy batteries, so it's not really super relevant. I would rather have medium batteries, which we only have one of. Actually, I do think we have a second one. It's probably still in the welder. So, yeah, I can't believe that all fit in my car without any... Oh, and it left a ton of stuff behind. Okay, of course you did. So, we don't... I don't have spaces set up for everything. Back up. There we go. Like clothing and armor don't have a space in our vehicle. So what I think I will do is we can do some vehicle work here. Like we have, okay, where's our welder? Grab our welder. I want to get a look at this first. They've been renamed, by the way, to arc welder. I don't know when that happened exactly, but so what we're going to do, we're going to take off the quarter panels back here, which we're eventually going to turn into stow boards anyway. So we're going to pull off these... No, I hit solar panel. I meant quarter panel. So that's unfortunate. We're going to install the solar panel. Well, first let's put the stow board. Can we put a stow board? Has a volume. It doesn't say the volume. Let's install that. We'll go this, because this will affect the way the tile actually looks. So we want to make sure we match the right tile. Oh, just use the arc welder. So there we've installed a stow board which has 62 liters of space. We will also install a stow board here. Stow board, again, we want the straight one. This will give us some space on the exterior of the vehicle. Clothing and armor is not as valuable to me as other things, so we're going to stick them in there just so they have a place in the vehicle. And we want to reinstall that solar panel. Very important that we keep all the solar panels on the vehicle. They need to be charging our car pretty much at all possible times. You'll see we are getting plus 360 into our vehicle, which is not great. You'll see we're about the same battery charge we were in the last episode when we checked. So now that we have stow boards, which do block sight, we're going to mark them as clothing piles. So let's put clothing, yes, and armor in the same tile, yes. And then we will make a filthy clothing and filthy armor pile in the other one, just in case we... just in case, did we do that right? Filthy clothing, filthy armor. Yes, save. And now when we sort my loot, it should... Oh, why'd you go back inside? And why did you not stow these? Are these not considered clothing or armor? They obviously are treated as clothing and armor because we can wear them. So why did you not? Did we fill it? 29, no, look at it, 62.50. So we did fill it with clothing, unfortunately. I don't want to put stow boards on this side because this is the side we're going to be expanding. So these are all going to come off when we do our vehicle work. We can remove this other door or this rear panel. We'll do the back. We'll do the rear. Let's just pull that off. I didn't think we would have so much clothing, but of course clothing is very voluminous, so it makes sense that there would be clothing there, or rather, it would make sense that it would take up a lot of space. Stow board, we need this to be the angled one, so that it looks nice and neat. Go ahead and install that. I never use stow boards on my vehicle. Just use my charge. Who cares? I never use stow boards, so this is a new experience for me. I really don't like the way that looks, the angled one, but I guess you got to do what you got to do. So we'll mark this as clothing as well. Armor, is there a way to duplicate one that already exists? Armor and clothing. Yes. And save and sort. And you went back inside, so we still don't have space. Okay, I mean, that's okay. That's not bad. Now we just need to do something about these what's our unsorted pile look like? About half full. We're not going to have space for all this stuff, unfortunately, because we have a lot of these jugs of chemicals. I would like to put chemicals. Let's just pick up. What's our inventory look like? Let's just drop everything we don't actually need currently on our person. Yeah. And did it take all of our books? It did. It took our books, but it didn't take our magic books. Let's go back and make some additional zones. This is tools. It's almost full. We can put chemicals with our mutagen and stuff for the time being. Again, we're going to have to sort these things later anyway. We're going to have to resort them, and we're going to bind them to new locations anyway. Let's save that for the moment. What is this? 89 liters. Books and medicine. Is there a magic books zone? Magazines? No, that would be ammo magazines. Books. I'm not seeing anything that would deal with the Magiclysm books. Maybe I'm just missing it. So we put chemicals there. We need a place to put our seeds. I guess we would put them on the food pile. And we need a place for beverages. We can put food and beverages together for the moment. Drinks. I say beverages a lot. Drinks is probably more your speed. And then we will put spare parts in the unsorted pile. Yes. And save and sort. Hopefully that is about all the stuff we need. Apparently we dropped the welder by mistake. Moving tons of stuff. Plastic chunks. Yep, one at a time, of course. Yeah, we have a lot of spare electronic pieces. And all that we have left are the autoclave pouches, some miscellaneous crap, and those books. It did sort our welder back into the vehicle, which is great. I do want to grab the welder, however, and take the battery out of it so that we have that charging. So we do have 2 medium batteries, which is good. We will go ahead and drop the welder back on the makeshift pile, or on the tools pile. And these books can go into the book pile, although I doubt we're going to be using them anytime soon. Autoclave pouches I would regard as a tool personally. I will drop these. Science ID cards take up very little space. I would like to keep them on our person, otherwise I will forget them. But we'll just drop them in the unsorted pile. That should be everything, and it looks like it didn't break the vehicle by putting too much stuff in it or anything like that. So I think we're okay. Oh, I do want to take V8 with us. That has a lot of calories if I remember right. Clean water we will also take, why not? And I think that'll do it. We'll take the gallon jug of water. No, we have... I think we have enough gallon jugs and things. I don't think we need to worry about it. And we have that full tank of not clean water, so it's not like we're out of water or anything. I thought you could open those by bumping into them. I guess they're not actually doors. They're just... they're boards that have space for storage. So Okay, we can drop all that onto the food pile. And yeah, I think we're good. Let's pull out just to make sure. Yep, didn't leave anything behind. This should be a very No. Why? Why is there food and drink here? This is chemicals, and it's mutate. Oh, did I put a beverage pile on there? I didn't mean to. Drink. There are 2 drinks. Okay, so we want to remove this one because we don't want our beverages with our mutation stuff, because I will end up accidentally drinking mutagen when I mean to drink a soda or something. So we'll go ahead and pull those off and drop them over here. Hopefully there's space. Great. And just to check, let's take a look here. Salt water is the only thing I see that's like more beverage, but we can leave that there as a chemical. I think that's fine. Denatured alcohol. Yep, I think we're good. We're ready to head to town. Once we head to town, we're going to be doing a lot of vehicle work. Pork sticks seem fine. We basically not really eating any calories today. We were just drinking beverages to keep our hunger at bay. So we will eat a fair bit of calories here. And we should probably drink something. Where are my beverages? Where? Oh, they're all down here. Trying to save the herbal tea for if we get sick or something like that and we need to boost our health stat a lot. Go ahead and drink some sports drink. I like sports drink. In my head, that's like Gatorade, right? So that seems fine. Our vehicle is listed as nearly empty, but I guess that's because of the battery charge. We're getting 1% per hour, 2 days until full. I didn't know it tracked how much until you're full. I know it tracked how much you're draining. Makes sense. It's probably the same exact formula. Or the same, it probably outputs the same thing no matter what. It's just that currently it's positive, and when it's negative, it would be the opposite. It would show until empty. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so we're over time, and we've got everything sorted. So we're going to be moving on to do some vehicle work in the near future, gathering up some copper wiring and things like that so we can get the vehicle welder, vehicle forge set up. And then once we have that, we're probably going to live the nomadic lifestyle for a while. And we will probably continuously expand our vehicle on the road as necessary. So, for now, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, maybe consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. And I, of course, will be back with more Cataclysm content every single day of the week. And I will see you in the next episode.